Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm so glad you could join me today. I have another Christmas card project for you. This one is done in blues and features the Feels Like Frost Designer Series paper. So let's just get started. Okay, here is our Christmas card, all done in blues and silver. And then I've used some of the ice glitter on this one. And let me show you exactly what I did with this. I did use this Feels Like Frost paper that has all of these beautiful photorealistic images on one side. And I mean, there's some stunners in here. Just look at that purple. Isn't that gorgeous? I think these would make beautiful wintertime and fallish birthday cards and sympathy cards and so on. And the entire pack is silver foiled on the back. And some of them look like flowers, some of them look like snowflakes, some of them look like just foliage. Berries, stripes. I saw one here. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? And there's some here that are just plain old polka dots. That could be snow, it could just be polka dots. In any case, I used the sheet that had this beautiful image on it. And so let me show you exactly what you need to do to make this card. I started with a piece of Night of Navy that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Then I used Seaside Breeze, and I have a piece that's 4 by 5 1/4 to go on the inside, and then I have a piece that is 5.5 by 3 1/4 to go on the outside. Then I cut this beautiful image out of a piece of the Feels Like Frost paper here, and this one is 3 inches by 5 1/4, and then this one has this beautiful pattern on the back side. So I used, I'd cut one that is 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4, and that's going to go on the inside. And then this piece is 3/4 of an inch by 5, and that's going to go on the front. Then you need 2 pieces of scrap in Night of Navy and the Seaside Breeze to put our sentiment on. And then the sequins I used came from the Seaside Blue in the Woven Thread Sequin Assorted Mix. So the first thing I'm going to do is treat this piece because this needs to dry just a little bit. So if we do that first, it'll give it a chance to do that. So I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper and put my piece down. And I'm using my fine tip glue pen. And this is the tool that we have that has the finest point of any of our glue. And it's just a little tiny little opening. And in fact, this needle goes back into it to keep this from getting stuck. And mine have gotten stuck before. And all I did was from about here to here, I used my heat tool underneath it, and it sort of melted the glue. That allowed me to put my needle back in place and kind of plunge it a little bit, and then it worked fine ever since. One of these bottles, for as much as I use it, probably is darn near a lifetime supply for me. You get a lot of glue in this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just stripe this across here about 1/4 inch apart and put down some of this glue product going all the way across the card. And I'm going to push these ends off a little bit here because I don't necessarily want blobs on the ends of those. So I'm going to put this glue all the way across in stripe-like motions on my card, and I am going to strike through those that left big blobs. And I'll bring this up so you can see. And you can always, when you put your glitter on, you'll see where you've missed. And then you can go back through and put some more of the glue down and some more of the glitter And I'll bring this up so you can see, move it in the light a little bit. You might be able to see where I've put that glue. And in fact, I'm going to get a new piece of scratch paper here because that's now got glue on it. And I really don't want any glue on this paper. Okay, so there we go. And then I've got my ice glitter to the side, and I'm going to grab a spoon, and I'm just going to sprinkle that glitter pretty much all over this panel. Make sure I get good coverage. And get lots of it on here. And I'm going to press that glitter into the glue. Now, I'm going to pick this up and try to grab an end without getting glue on myself. Let's see, how'd I do? This little corner is empty. That's pretty good coverage. Can you see that? I've got the glitter pretty much all over those stripes of glue on the paper here. And I'm going to set this aside to dry a little bit. And I have another one prepared in case it's not completely dry by the time we're ready for it. But I'm going to put my glitter back in my container here and set that aside. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is add some of our pieces to our card. The only thing that's actually raised on this card is this sentiment. In fact, maybe I'll just do the stamping first. So I am using Night of Navy ink, and so I have my stamps mounted, Celebrate the Season and Blessed Christmas Wishes, and they're both from the Kling stamp Itty Bitty Christmas. And I've got to tell you that this is turning into a go-to stamp set for me for Christmas, because we've done Itty Bitties before, but these all have so many different fonts, and the sizes aren't all just small block letters. I love it. Celebrate the Season, Thinking of You at Christmas. Some of these are pretty good sized, and I have used them and used them and used them, and it's a wonderful stamp set. If you don't have that one already, it's a good purchase. All right, so the very first thing I'm going to do is stamp in this piece, and this piece measures, looks like a little over 3 inches by about 1, and that's plenty because we're going to use these two, the two smallest of the long rectangles from the stitched rectangle die, to cut out our sentiments. So I'm going to put this one kind of in the middle. There we go. And then I can put this around it to get it absolutely perfectly straight and run that through my die machine. Then I have this piece of Night of Navy that I will put this piece on and run through my die machine. And as is my practice, I've already done that to save a little time on the video. So here is my sentiment, and I'm just going to use some snail to attach this sentiment to the backing piece. Center that on there, and then because this needs to dry too, I'm going to put a little bit of this glue that we just used on the front of the card around the edge of the navy blue in the sentiment, and I'm going to put some glitter on it as well. All right, so back to my piece of scratch paper and my glitter, which I'm just going to put all over that piece. and press that into place. There we go. And oh, look at that. It looks like a piece of candy. And we'll set that here also to dry. There we go. I think that is all of the glittering we're going to do. And the other stamping that I want to do is on the inside. I'm going to run, I think it's this piece, down this side over here. So I want my Celebrate the Season to be centered on the other part of the blue card. So I'm just going to lay that there so I know roughly where I'm going. And then I'm going to put my Celebrate the Season right down here to the left. And there we have it. A little crooked for my taste, so I think I'll try that again. There we go, that's a little bit better. And then we'll put this piece on here for the inside. In fact, we can go ahead and do that now because that is all of the stamping that we have to do. So I will move these out of the way and grab my silicone mat here and add some glue to the back of this strip and put it in place, leaving a small border, like 1/8 of an inch, on the one side, and putting this in place down that side of the card. Brings a little bit of the outside of the card to the inside. And gosh, I've got some glue on there. I mean some ink. Take my sand eraser and get rid of those little ink smudges I've got on the edge of my card. There we go. All right, now I can take my glue and add that to the back of this piece and put this in place, and my inside will be finished. Okay, so let me put this in place. So it's got a similar border all the way around, and there we have the inside of our card done. Now the rest of this is really pretty easy. We're going to add some nail adhesive here to the back of this panel and put that into place. And I'm leaving just a small margin on this side, about, well, I don't know what that is, not 1/4 of an inch, less than that. Okay, and then I'm going to take that strip that is cut to 5 inches and put it down along this edge of the card, so it's got even a smaller border on this side, and that's intentional. I want this to go big, smaller, smaller, smallest, and so giving kind of a cascading feel to this down the side. So I'm going to center this piece right next to the blue, and let's see, so that it's got about the same margin top to bottom. There we go. And let's see how our piece is doing. Oh, it's pretty good. All right, so I'm going to add some snail to the back of this piece. Yep, losing glitter. One of the people on my team sent me a card, and it was covered with glitter from top to bottom, and on the outside of the envelope it said, "Glitter happens." Her name is Lori Lugauer, and she operates out of Arizona. I think it's Arizona or New Mexico. I'll have to think about that. Anyway, so like Lori, glitter happens. So this piece is going to go on the inside with a little margin top to bottom on this piece and allowing this silver piece to show up on this end. And there, like that, going to put that into place, and that will continue to dry as time goes on there. And then we have our sentiment, which we put up here to dry, and that sentiment is going to get raised on dimensionals. Okay, I've got my dimensionals here, and I think I'm going to use the larger of them. I'm going to set that sentiment right here on that card. Oh, I love it. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is sort of the finishing touches, and I have these woven thread sequin assortment, and in there are the blue sequins that will match the Seaside Spray. So I'm going to grab a couple of these sequins with my Take a Pick tool, put them on a glue dot, and start putting them in place. So I started putting these on the glue dots, and I think it is really the most secure way to put these things on. Now you can use, if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you probably have a ton of glue dots left over, and some of those are a little bit smaller, so they'll fit some of the smaller of the sequins. They come out in different sizes on those Paper Pumpkin kits. Oh, isn't that a pretty one? Look at that. That could be a happy accident. All right, I think I will add that. It's actually a peacock one, but I like the way it reflects on the blue. It's got a little bit of green to it, but I think the blue really captures it here. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, so I'm going to add a couple of those. And I like odd numbers when using these kinds of embellishments. And so I will put 5 of these on. I'm going to put one over, maybe I'll put this one, if I can get it back off again, over here, and then I can use another blue one on the interior paper. And I'm just laying this across the glue dot and then picking it up with the other side and putting it down on my card. And there we go. We've got 5 sequins on there and our sentiment. And no 2 cards come out exactly the same. I'm looking at this, and this sentiment is down a little lower than this one, but I love the card. I think it is very non-traditional, and it says Christmas, but you could put holiday season on there, and there's nothing that says this can't be just winter card, not Christmas, and celebrate the season on the inside. So there is my project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and would like to buy any of these products, I'd love to be your demonstrator. You can order from me on lbedinger.stampinup.net. That gets you to my store, or you can get to it through my blog, www.inkandingenuity.com. And so let's see, my prize draw for the month of October is a bundle out of the holiday catalog. And all you have to do to get in my drawing is put an order of any size on my website here, and you're automatically in the drawing. And thanks again for stopping by, and I'll be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye!